if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all. I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through. I just gotta get
Hip-hop was good. Hip-hop, what is good? It's your boy Robb D, a.k.a. Robb DZ, BKA Robb being the place to be, also known as at the real Robb Diggie on IG. You already know what it is. This is the second half of season 5, the transformation of hip-hop, the years between 2010 and 2019. Thank you all for tuning in, listening in, watching, looking, whatever it is. Thank you all of our followers and supporters. Take a nice little 2-week hiatus. But now we are back, and we're going to be talking about the young homie 21 Savage to kick off the second half of the season. First off, before we get going into this, man, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been pushing us, supporting us. All the haters, thank you as well. We appreciate you. You all make our fuel even more bigger than what it is, and making us more want to get out there and do more for the culture, for hip hop music. And just for everybody that's, going through a lot of things. And right now, it's time of celebration right now. So I want first of all give a shout out to the class of 2022. My son's graduating high school this week, man. So, man, it's just watching our kids grow and get out there and be young adults and contribute to the world is awesome, man. So shout out to the class of 2022. I love all you guys. And however, my special guest today is the alumni of the Diggie A-2 platform. We haven't seen him in a couple of seasons, but he's been doing a lot of things behind the scenes. He goes by the name of Wilde Tuna. Huge fan of Wilde Tuna, man. I'm going to give y'all his IG when we get on here. He's always live. He always interacts, and he's like really humble cat, very, very busy cat as well, too. And he's going to bring us his hip-hop knowledge about 21 Savage. So without further ado, we're going to bring this young brother in. Tuna, what's good? Talk to the folks, man. What's happening, bro?
Hey, brother, it's a pleasure to be back in the building, man. A pleasure to be back. You already know how it go. For the folks out there who don't know me, Wilde Tuna from Philadelphia, formerly known as the Young King hip hop artist. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm out here hitting the media world, running my own podcast. Shout out to Rome, your favorite rapper. Our first season drops next week for Wild and Rome podcast, our collab thing we got going on. So make sure y'all check that out. But, we here today talking about a young legend in the game, 21 Savage. I'm here to, put my input here, man. I thank you again for having me on the show. It's always an honor to be on the other side of the table. You know what I'm saying?
Always, man. Shout out to you and Rome. I gotta look out for Wild and Rome. I'm definitely tuning in for that, man. So yeah, man, support you and your movement and your family and your kids, everybody, man. Hopefully many blessings and all that. But man, let's get into the facts. Tuna, we got facts to talk about first. Let's talk about 21 Savage and what is real, right? So 21 Savage is a one-time Billboard Award winner, one-time Video Music Award winner. He does have a Grammy Award in his trophy case for the song A Lot, which won for Best Rap Song at the Grammy Awards of 2020 with him and J. Cole. We're going to start out with Savage Mode, which came out in July 2016, which was a collaboration with him and Metro Boomin, also from the city of Atlanta, Georgia. Some of the songs I picked up there were No Advance, No Heart, Feel It in the Air. There was a couple of joints that was gold. His first studio album was Issa. Issa was released in July 2017. One-time platinum album. That was one with Bank Account, Thug Life, FaceTime. Those are some of the hits he had off of there. But his most successful album was I Am Greater Than I Was, which was released in November of 2018. Lots of hits off of there. Of course, the award-winning song A Lot with J. Cole. All My Friends with Post Malone, Can't Leave Without It with Gunna and Lil Baby, ASMR, which is a kind of weird song, like he's doing the ASMR thing, like at the end of it, we talking whispering and like that whole the whole thing tuning, which is always strange. I thought. Then he got the big song with Monster with Shoutouts Gambino. That is a one-time platinum album as well. And then what I think where 21 Savage flourishes is the features. So I got a couple of features that I have here. Of course, he's on the song with Post Malone with Rockstar, which is a diamond selling single. Cartier Barty, Barty Cardi with Cardi B, Rover 2.0 with Block Boy JB. And then, of course, he got that recent single out right now with Knife Talk, which is with the legend, boy Audrey Graham, otherwise known as Drake. So that is the premise of our discussion this for this episode for 21 Savage. 21 Savage also was born in London but moved to Atlanta, Georgia. That's why I'm representing ATL today with the World Championship Braves there. You know what I mean? My hometown. No shade though, Tuna. You know, I mean, the Phillies, man, I gotta get together out there. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna put it out there, you know. Born in London, raised in Atlanta, Georgia. And when he was in Atlanta, Georgia, give you all a little bit of context. When he was young, he got really deep into the gang life. So the gang life goes into his artistry, and he got some things in gang life. Then he decided one of his homeboys got killed, and he turned his life around and went to music. He also was a freshman class of 2006 from XXL, 2016 from XXL freshman class as well too. So those are the accolades. We're going to talk about the opinions now. Wilde Tuna, my homeboy, my ace, thank you for being on here, man. Like, it's been a long time coming, brother. So thank you. And all of your movement, everything you got going on. But my first question to get us started, man, is when you think about 21 Savage, bro, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
I'm not going to answer that question right away, right?
Okay. Fair enough, homie. Fair enough.
Because it changed, right? So when 21 Savage first came out, I was heavy into my artistry, right?
Okay.
And I'm a hip hop head, man. So I'm about having a message of positivity, having to be able to play the songs for the streets and for the kids. You know what I mean? So my standard on putting out music was a little different. At the time, I felt like it was a higher, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I was above that. I'm not talking about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when he first came out, I didn't like him. I was like, I ain't listening to that. You know what I mean? That ain't my thing. And he was from down south. And this was when I was just getting used to mumble rap. This was like 2015. So mumble rap was like at its peak. We had, some great artists who came through and did their thing. But it was just like, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
It took me until I was around the time I was done my artistry, done being biased. I was done being biased.
Yeah.
To really tap in and really listen. When I went back to listen, I had to I had to go back and being a fan. So I had to really listen. And as a fan, I'd give everybody a chance. Right. So I went back and went through his music, and I was like, you know what? This was my thing. My first thought this is why I didn't want to answer it right away. My first thought was, it's better than Gucci, man. You know what I mean? I was better than Gucci. Okay. I'm digging it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And that was just because he was making music that his beats was what was in. His beats was so trendy that it was like, it's going to go in everywhere you go, his beats go, whether it's on a 2K game or a club night or, you know what I'm saying, the cookout, somebody's playing 21 Savage somewhere in the mix somewhere. It just became like one of those type things. And on top of it, the artists that he was coming up around, like the Migos and NBA Young Boys and all these people that, were such competition. The only person that he made music with at the time that I really also wasn't really listening to was Travis Scott.
Okay.
So then when him and Travis Scott did a song together, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give these guys some plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, I fell into the wave. Everybody else was listening to it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to add 21 in the playlist. And I've grown to listen and then understand who he was. Yeah. And then I appreciated it. So it took me a little bit of a process to get to the point where it's like, now where I hear 21 Savage, I think of a solid artist. He's a solid artist. Yeah. Prior to that, I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what, Tune? Our stories are parallel because I feel exactly the same way. Although I'm not an artist, I really wasn't feeling them at first, and I'm still kind of not in my own way. And I'll talk about that here in a second. But the point is, artistry or hip hop music and culture is art, right? So it was really his depiction of art is very dark, very about the gang life, about violence, and women, talking about them in a degrading way. But that was what he was around in the gang life. And to me, it's no different than what NWA was doing in the 80s. It ain't no different. It just hits a little bit harder. His words sting a little bit. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, did he really have to go there with that?
They're a little more savage, a little more savage.
Yeah, a little more savage with it. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So coin the phrase, his name, fits him a little bit, actually it fits him to the T, you know what I'm saying? Because the way that he rhymes and, and look at the background behind me. There's a picture I got of him online with his head cut off. I'm like, damn, dude, like you got to go that dark with it. Like, okay. Like, all right, this is artistry. We with that. However, I'm going to bring up the video with him and Post Malone, the Rockstar video, man, that's a dark video too. They got like knives and people getting cut up and like, so shout out to Post Malone and 21 Savage, man. I mean, that video almost has 1 billion views on YouTube, man. I just watched it last night. I mean, like it's incredible artistry, but it is art. Ladies and gentlemen, hip hop is art. Don't ever forget that. You know what I mean? It's just like the same thing in painting on the wall. You might go buy it. I'm not feeling that, but you might be feeling something else. So it's no different than that depiction. However, to fast forward to my point with 21 Savage, I think he got better as he got older. As we talked about before we tape, as 21 started to go through life a little bit, my favorite song from him is A Lot with him and J. Cole. Like to me, that is the pinnacle of his of not only his artistry, but the video. I like it a lot too because it talks about it's him and there's people sitting at the table with him. And, he talked about everybody's going through something. You never know what anybody is going through in their life. You know what I mean? Like talked about everybody sitting at the table, having fun and everything. But then they have like a flashback to like somebody on drugs, somebody being locked up, somebody being caught by the cops, somebody going through sexual assault. Like you just never know what people are going through behind closed doors. That to me is art. That is hip hop. That is hip hop 21. Shout out to you, man, for the picture. And then, of course, J. Cole drops a legendary verse on there, but we're not going to get into J. We'll talk about Cole in a couple of weeks. But with that in mind, Tuna, I think about 21 and his growth, but I still think he has a room to grow. Even I think he's still young, a young lion in the game to even show us even more of what he has in store. But I think what I want to turn to next with this conversation is with 21 and his lyricism. So talk to me about how you feel about his lyrics, his delivery, his flow. Like you was an MC, artist yourself. How do you resonate with this flow and his lyricism?
Yeah, so essentially in the beginning, like I said, the simplified rap, the mumble rap, the say exactly what you mean, like with no double or triple entendres, the lack of really the lack of artistry in the wordplay was where I was like, nah, I'm not feeling it. But later as he grew and I started listening to that style and really understanding that this, how they speak is really how they really how they speak is how they rap. You know what I'm saying? Down south, how they speak is how they rap. So their references aren't going to be as, philosophical as what an MC might do from New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I had to just embrace that. And once I embraced that, I'm not going to come here and find the hottest bars in the world. I'm just going to see a picture that he's painting. Then I said, okay, now I'm listening. So now when he's talking, I can picture what he's talking about instead of listening as I would listen to a Nas or a Kendrick. It's a different type of listen.
Absolutely. And then it goes back to your point. Trap drums, trap music, Metro Boomin, shout the Metro with the beats on most of the songs that he did with Savage Mode 2, which was released in 2020. I mean, Metro is an awesome talent. I mean, I don't care what producer you got out there. Metro was dope. I like his verse on Rover 2.0, Bartier Cardi with Cardi B matching wits with her. I mean, he's got some bright spots, man. He really does. But I think he's better on features. Some of the albums that he had, like I said, outside of I Am Greater Than I Was, that's the only one I really, really like the most. That's the one I listened to back to back about 3 times this past week. I was like, yo, this young brother got something to say. But to your point, in regards to the delivery of the lyrics, okay, maybe that may not be what I'm used to, but I also goes to maybe you know what, Tuna, I'm just an old school head, man. Maybe that's just what it is. Maybe that's just what it is. Maybe it's because I'm in my 40s and I'm used to hip hop looking and sounding a certain way. So it could be a little bit of that. So it could be a generational gap in that regard, right? So it could be a little bit of bias in that regard, which is okay, right? Because these young brothers interpret art how they want to, and that's the beauty of hip hop music, man. Anybody can take it and run with it however they want to and make it their own, and the fans love it. He is well renowned in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. He gets back to Atlanta. I mean, I saw all the philanthropic things that he done, giving back to his community. So hats off to 21 Savage, man. Everybody else behind him that's doing. And he was kind of like the leader of that pack. So talk to me, Tune, about that pack. When 2015, 2016, 2017 with I wouldn't call it the mumble rap era, but I would say there was a new coming of age of hip hop. Like, we had the Migos coming out. We had Gunna, we had what's my homeboy name from Atlanta? I can't think of his name on top of my head. Young Thug, Nav, a Metro Boomin on the production side. There was like a whole new wave of artists in that time period. And what I thought was genius, to be honest, Tuna, was genius is Drake, collab with Metro Boomin before Metro Boomin was even big. So Drake has a clear eye, for things like that. We'll talk about Drake later on, though. But talking about that new school of hip hop, man, between those middle 20 teens, man. Talking about how you feel about that time.
I call them the futuristic hip hoppers. You know what I'm saying? After Future hit his wave and really opened up a new sound, it opened up the lane for artists to then embrace not fully being able to do what Future does, but taking the auto-tune and taking what he's saying and just be more vulgar with it. Yeah. So they took 21 Savage to me is like a drill version of Future. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So he uses the auto tune. He uses the he got the drip, but him leading the pack was more so him being trying to be the most vulgar as possible. He held the image better than all of the other artists that he was up against. Yeah. So him being able to embrace what he's rapping about more so than the others at the time, because we got like the Lil Durks and all those other guys too, but they weren't really in his lane. They was just in his group. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The lane that 21 was really against was just the people and his peers in Atlanta, because he had so much. It was so much talent coming out of there. You know what I'm saying? So his standout was his imagery, his vulgarness, and he got some great production. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No question. And then my last point, Tuna, what I want to ask you is, so let's think about hip hop in 2025, right? We'll say hip hop, whatever that music sounds like in 3 years from now. Do you still think 21 Savage is going to be relevant in hip hop 3 years from now? Or is he going to be on Love and Hip Hop, like my boy 21 J. Cole said? You know what I'm saying?
So this is where I get political, right?
All right.
So in essence, I would love to say 21 Savage would be around in 2025, but I feel like he'll only be around if he remains independent and if he changes his current style, just because the beat selection is going to slightly change. The choice, the vibes are going to slightly change now, especially when you have a couple people embracing hip hop more and more on a higher scale. It's going to fade away from, because if you notice, other people in his lane have already faded out. You know what I'm saying? There's not so much heat coming from the Migos. There's not so much heat coming from these usual down south guys. Who had the torch for a good 5 to 6 years.
Word.
You know what I mean? So in order for him to remain, I think he's like the Meek Mill of his city. He has the ability to change. He has the ability to, open and take on other styles. His feature game is amazing.
Facts.
So he has the ability to create and constantly feature with other artists and blend with them. So I think he just has to do independent and change his style. The label's going to control anything. If he would a label, I don't know. It's always 50-50, you know what I'm saying? Because
that's facts.
You don't know what kind of music the label wants him to put out. If the label don't want him to change, and he's like, once you see a couple things in life and you like, you know what, I'm just gonna chill. That might end up being this option and invest in other things. He got the acting thing going. He was in Superfly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's got the acting lane. That's facts. I think I agree with you. And the reason why I agree with you is just by what you just said. A lot of folks in his peer group, are not making a lot of buzz as much as they were, because hip hop changes, hip hop shifts. And it looks like it's changing for the better, Tuna. I hate to say that. I cannot believe I just said that, but I think it's changing for the better. I think we're getting back to the fundamentals of hip hop music, which we'll talk about weeks down the road in the future. But I would
We
love to
made
get a
hip-hop
forum
great again, huh?
Yeah, I would love to get a forum. Me, you, and Rome talk about hip hop, where it's changing.
Oh, yeah.
It's going back to the fundamentals of hip hop. We're getting back there, and it makes me feel good as an OG to be like, yeah, this is what it's supposed to sound like. This is what the artistry. This is what we're not talking about biting people's beats and biting rhymes and sounding like everybody. No, we're getting back to originality, which is what it was founded on. However, I can say the same thing about 21 Savage because there's nobody in hip hop that sounds like 21 Savage, straight up. Like, I mean, I don't care. I don't care who they are. No one is as savage as this kid. Like, this dude will talk about some of the darkest stuff. You'd be like, what? So I got to keep the show PG because my mom's is watching, but that's why I can't recite none of the, I can't recite none of the lyrics like I usually want to in some of the artists, but man, I can't recite 21 Savage stuff, man. The stuff is just crazy, but shout out to 21 Savage, man. Shout out to his contributions to hip hop, but we're going to start winding things down, ladies and gentlemen. And as we always has been doing throughout season 5, the transformation of hip hop is giving a hands up, don't shoot salute to the late Daunte Wright. So Tuna, if you could join me on putting your hands up in the air for me one time, my brother, and I'm going to say hands up. You're going to say don't shoot. We're going to say that chant 3 times to keep the life and memory alive for Mr. Daunte Wright. So one time, hands up.
Don't shoot.
Hands up.
Don't shoot.
Hands up.
Don't shoot.
Rest in peace, Daunte. Continue to watch over us and all the others that we have lost through the social injustice in the United States of America. We got to do better. Go, especially going into the summer. However, it is shout out time. Wilde Tuna making his second appearance on the platform. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Who are your shout outs going to, big homie?
Hey, man, you know my list is always long, man. First and foremost, I got to shout out to God. Without God, I wouldn't be here. Shout out to my family, my mom, shout out to my kids, my lady. But big shout out to everybody that's been backing me in the industry. Culture District HQ.com, Results, No Hype Magazine, Radio Pushers TV. We've been doing big things over there. So much we doing for artists and doing it for a low budget. We're not killing people's pockets. We really showing y'all the way to navigate in the industry the proper way. So check us out over there. We definitely going to lead y'all into a nice summer, man. We got a lot of good events and shows coming up. So tap in, follow me everywhere. Wilde Tuna, Instagram. And shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. Shout out to wifey. Shout out to y'all family. Shout out to the high school grad. We got one on this side. We got a full ride to Jefferson in the pocket. So
that's what's up. Congratulations, man. That's what's up.
It's all about the family, man. So that's really what it is. Shout out to the family. In Rome, the podcast is going to be hilarious, man. So make sure y'all tap in. It's going to be great, man.
Word. Tuna. I remember the last time Tuna was on the show, ladies and gentlemen, if you go back, rewind the tape to season 3, Tuna was on the show with me for the Roots episode. And I remember asking Tuna at the time, I was like, yo, man, what is it that you do? You do like all kinds of shit. And I don't know what the hell it is that you do. And he's like, I do this. I'm like, dude, I don't know what you do, bro. So it sounds like not much has changed over the past 2 years.
Man. I'm still producing. Actually, I was just sending some beats out before I jumped on with you. So I'm still producing.
That's what's
still
up.
Engineering, still throwing events, still songwriting, graphic art design, shooting videos. I actually just shot a video for Rome. That's out right now. If y'all check that out, you just posted it. So yeah, I'm still doing the same grind, man. Just more educated and just growing and just trying to spread the blessings, man. You know how it goes.
Yes, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Well, many blessings to you, man. Shout out to you, Tuna, man. Shout out to Rome. Shout out to your family. Shout out to all the graduates of 2022. Shout out to everybody out there, just staying safe. And next week, we're going to be going to Chicago. We talk about that boy, Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi's next week, man. But y'all know the slogan, man. Stay safe, stay humble, stay hip-hop, man. Y'all see y'all soon, man. Peace.
I just gotta get through, cause I feel like taking off. Find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all. I just gotta get through. Sometimes I feel like all is lost, but I know it's not true. I wanna put up all my walls cause I'm not in the mood, but then I cut myself off from the rest of the room. I know that time can heal